Welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 311. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. And this is a Tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
So,
is it like weird to say 311?
I know you looked at me and I was like, am I fucking this up?
Oh, no. Sorry.
Nice.
It's another late Sunday night, like always.
Late Sunday night. I ate too much this weekend.
Like usual.
Like usual. Was off the diet a little bit. Drank a little too much.
Had a few too many sweets.
I feel like shit.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Yo, remind me I gotta
Again.
stop being a fucking piece of shit.
Yep. I'll work on that.
It just happens so much to me. It's like always like, boom, just being a bum. And I know.
If the temptation's there, you're going to take it.
I know how good I feel when I'm fucking dialed.
Mm.
And I just eat that fucking cinnamon roll like a bitch, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're bad.
Damn.
And all it'll take is like 2 weeks of cutting out sweets, and you'll be
good.
fine.
I'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it before.
Yeah.
Man.
I think we should have done 75 hard when we said we were.
I fucking know it.
Oh.
Dumb.
Anyways.
Dumb.
Well, apologies for all of our yawning if you're watching or listening to this. But, Shaun, what are we going to tutor about?
We are going to discuss our thoughts on the wonderful debate.
Yes. I'm sure some of you have heard quite a bit about it.
Or seen some sick, dank memes.
There's been a lot of dank memes from it. I will agree to that.
So good, dude. If there's nothing else we got from this, there's a lot of good memes.
Overall, what did you think?
Overall, what I learned was my overarching thing is Biden, as we known since 2020, is not actually running the country, is not fit for office, is not competent, is not capable. It's obvious.
I will...
And he's got dementia.
Yeah, I will tell you, Russell Brand, if you don't follow him on Instagram, he just posted a video comparing Biden in the 2019 debates versus now.
Yep.
He was full of color, like his face was like less wrinkly, and like he actually like talked like he had power behind his voice. Like, and it was just like little clips, so like of that little blurb, I mean, it like was coherent, and I was just like, dang, like he was actually kind of there.
Oh yeah.
4 years ago.
Right. Oh yeah, a little bit.
But I mean, they do say like being president does age you.
Well, I am having dementia.
Yeah. Yeah, we can start with that real quick. Was it PPD?
It might have been PBD. Went through like the main
Symptoms or like signs of dementia.
Yep.
And Biden checks all the boxes.
Yeah, he was just checking all of them. So if you just look at it, he's 82. Like, come on, let's be realistic here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, overall, who won?
Oh, Trump wasn't even a question.
No. I'm not going to discuss the rules that they put in because I've heard them a million times, so I'm sure all of you have too. But I was very impressed with the two moderators.
I was impressed for once that they didn't attack Trump. And I was very impressed by both Trump and Biden for not talking out of turn.
Yeah. I mean, because the mic shut on and off.
That's why.
It was nice. A lot of people said that they wish there could have been more of that.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been just two kids yelling at each other the whole time then.
It'd have been terrible.
Yeah. So this was at least civilized. I will say the one thing I wish the moderators would have done was allow a little more
back and forth. Yeah.
Because there was like some topics like you could tell Biden and Trump wanted to go back and forth on. So instead of answering the next question, they just continued their back and forth.
Right.
So there was a couple of the questions that didn't get answered because they wanted to do more of that.
Right. They wanted to keep moving.
The other interesting thing is we saw a clip of the Mitt Romney and Barack Obama debate. And it was like they were very cordial towards each other, very thankful for allowing like each other to debate, and for the moderators like very thankful and civil. And
it was constant that they're like saying, hey, both Barack and I want this, or both Mitt and I want this, right? Like we clearly both want this. And like would go through all the things that like they agree on, and then they would debate the things that they didn't agree on.
And it's like, I would say I would have to rewatch it, but I think Biden first took a dig at Trump. Because everyone's going to say like, well, Biden or Trump always attacks Biden and always has to put all the blame on Biden, but Biden did it quite a bit towards Trump.
Biden called him a sucker and a loser.
No. Biden said that Trump said sucker and losers to some military people.
Right. And then Biden said, you're the sucker, you're the loser.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not. I missed that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was like child's play.
Which I totally get. Like, for Trump, he was very civilized compared to, like, how he could have been.
100%.
But, I mean, you can tell, like, he definitely has some negative feelings towards Biden because he knows the whole court case that happened in New York was all from the Democratic Party trying to push him out. So he definitely has some negative feelings towards that.
As he should.
Yeah.
Because it's all a fucking fugazi.
Right.
And Biden's intentionally ruining the country by letting in over 18 million illegal immigrants.
Yeah. They're just running rampant.
Running rampant.
Yeah. So PBD mentioned it too, and I was also very shocked of the very first question they asked.
Oh, about economics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that first question was very telling of what they were trying to do, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe the whole point of this debate being so early on, and just those two and not RFK being there, was to make Biden look really bad so they have time to bring in a new candidate.
One, RFK can't be there because the independent party hasn't gotten enough votes in previous elections.
Sure.
So that's why they don't allow him. So if this election, the independent party, I believe, gets 10,000 votes, maybe it's 100,000.
Gotta be 100.
It gotta be. Then in the next election, they can debate.
That's so shitty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Damn.
But so, anyways, it's not fair. Most countries don't do that.
Shouldn't be that way.
No, not at all.
Communism.
All countries think we're dumb because we have basically a two-party system.
Right.
Because they don't let any of the other parties debate or anything.
Right. Yeah, they say it's more than a two-party system, but it's a two-party system.
Yeah. I would have thought, because like CNN is such a democratic news source, I would have thought they would have given at least one easy question first to kind of warm them both up, and then like the second question be economics.
Right into economics. And Biden was flustered within the first 5 seconds.
Yep. And it was really bad. The first question, I'm sure people watched it and then shut it off immediately.
Yeah, I'm sure some people did. Yeah, he, because, right off the bat, what they did there was was prime the stage and put Biden in a bad light, just starting right up, because economics is everyone, like the majority's number one concern is economics. We saw the post of the dude who ordered his thing on Walmart.
Yep.
And he ordered it on Walmart, and it was $160.
Yeah, and it was in 2022?
2021 or 2022. Yeah, something like that. His grocery bill from Walmart was $160. And you can select and just click reorder. So he collected reorder. It was $414. And so in the
short time span.
Yeah, 2 years, 2.5, 3 years, whatever. You're talking the price has gone up 2.5 times.
And wages have not gone up that much.
Wages have not gone. That is literally like if you're making $20. This is how you'd have to like compare it. If you were making $20, you now need to be making $50.
Yep. The thing that really bothered me during that is like them talking that we're only at 3% inflation right now.
It's so stupid. So inflation, yeah, they can say is like technically 3% for like what our quarter is doing for like the price of things. But what it doesn't take into account is like how much prices have gone up and stayed up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because now that things are up so high, we're not continuing to inflate. You know, it's just 3%. We're not continuing to inflate crazy.
Yeah.
But we did this massive inflation where things have gone up 2.5 times the amount.
The one thing that I wish would have been mentioned is, do you remember how a couple years ago that we were in a recession and then they decided to change the definition of recession so we weren't in a recession?
I remember that.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting that wasn't brought up at all, but, you know, that's just me. Here's one thing I really want you guys as listeners to think about, and maybe we'll do this in the next couple weeks, to think about some of the things that have happened in the past 4 years that I'm sure we've all forgotten about. Because, like, I think a lot of the things that people remember of Trump's reign was either... I mean, the low prices of things at the end. But then, like...
Broke gas was like 99 cents.
Oh, my God.
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, me too.
But also, like, if you're a liberal, a lot of people remember the mean tweets he said or how he poorly handled COVID, which wasn't him. You know, like, just some of the, like, negative things of, like, Trump's reign. But he did a lot of good the previous 4 years. So I think it'd be interesting for us to really look at some highlights and cons of both, like, Trump's 4 years and Biden's 4 years. Do you have notes of what the second question was, or was it just economics?
I don't have notes on what that was.
Okay. The other thing about economics that bothered me so much is I feel like it's hard to really... You almost have to take Trump's first 3 years to see how things were, because he was forced to shut down the country for months in the middle of his last year.
And you can really only take 2 years because the first year is so much cleanup.
Right. So, I mean, like, I feel like we can really only count 2019. Like, see how we were doing in 2019 and the beginning of 2020?
Right.
Because he was really shafted during COVID.
Oh, massively. And it was all on purpose. It was all a ploy, which has come out now.
Right. So that is, like, one thing that... And that came up a lot in the debate was Biden saying, like... You didn't do this, like you lost so many jobs when you were president, and we brought all these jobs back. Well, a lot of the jobs they brought back were ones that were lost because of COVID and things being shut down. So you can't really count those jobs because they were jobs that were there that Trump didn't make people lose.
Right.
The pandemic made people lose.
Right, exactly.
So it was like it's just so hard to get clear numbers on a lot of the issues and the policies because COVID was thrown in there.
Because everyone's going, and they did that all on purpose.
100%. 100%. Because now, like, it looks like Trump's last year was a shit show and Biden got a shit show to begin with.
Right.
But, I mean, in a lot of ways, the country was still doing actually really well at the end of 2020, even with COVID going on.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Stock market was on the run.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want me to go over some of the stuff I had?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. There was one thing. What were you just talking about? You were just saying
how it's just so hard to really get people's numbers, the economy, COVID.
Shit. You were talking about COVID happening and all that, right? And so two of the things. So obviously they brought up J6, January 6th.
Obviously.
So they brought up January 6th.
Much later in the program than I thought they would have.
Yep. And how it was so bad. Insurrection is like attacks, attack on whatever the fuck they say. And it's just terrible, right?
On our democracy.
On our democracy. And then Trump brought up because they said how it was like uncivil. Mm-hmm. And Trump was like, hey, let me just clear the air here. And he like just was putting everything, like saying how it was like all of Fugazi, right? Mm. And he's like, all the riots that you guys incited during the George Floyd, that wasn't like, that was way more dangerous
than J6.
Mm-hmm. And the Democrats were encouraging it. Mm-hmm. And it's so true, dude. Like during that time, during COVID, right? So when you can't be around people,
yeah,
everyone's out.
Burning down buildings.
Burning, looting, rioting, everything. And
none of those were worse than J6.
Yeah, J6 was the worst? Like, what do you even mean?
Yeah. There was no... Well, they say people looted, whatever.
Yeah.
But they were escorted in by police. There's videos and proof of that now.
And Trump said, Nancy Pelosi on video admitted it is her fault. Trump asked to have... what was it, 10,000 soldiers or 1,000 something?
Yeah, he was prepared to have 10,000 National Guard soldiers at...
Yeah, so Trump asked to have 10,000 National Guard soldiers there at the Capitol because he thought it could get out of hand. Mm-hmm. Nancy Pelosi admitted on camera that it's all her fault. She got it. She turned it down. She denied that to do that. So it's all her fault. She takes 100% responsibility for J6.
And I think that video was taken like of that day because I just saw a clip of it. Because it's in the car, her like
telling her daughter.
Yeah, and it's her getting escorted out because they're in a vehicle. And it's funny because like she said like, why aren't they there? Like this is way worse than we expected and blah blah blah. And then she says, I take 100% responsibility for this.
Isn't that awesome? Mm-hmm. So right away the J6, that whole thing was like, this isn't Trump's fault. And even Trump's like, look at the recordings. I said, peacefully protest, do not do anything.
His original tweets are like getting respread right now.
It's so beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful. But you want to know what? Here's some of the shit I had written down and stuff. Guys, this has been out there for 4 fucking years. This has all been out there for 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden looking a damn fool. Trump actually doing the right thing when everyone thinks it's wrong. And we're out here like just opening our fucking eyes to it.
Yeah.
We've got...
Ooh, actually, can I, before you continue,
go.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Just to prove a point about the J6 thing, since you already brought it up.
Perfect.
There are tons of videos of people going to college campuses and asking them, what do you think is worse on, like, America's democracy, J6 or 9/11? All college students right now say J6. Say J6 was the worst thing to happen to the United States. It was an act of terrorism. So if you try and tell me that they're not pushing specific views to be so negative against one side and not even teach kids about an unbiased opinion.
Right.
Like, you're crazy if you think they're trying to teach kids actual things in universities and schools.
Right.
So yeah, just like keep that in mind. Like, all the left side people think that J6 was the worst thing to happen to us.
That's fucked.
And one person died.
One person died, I think. Yeah.
And I think it was a police officer.
I think so.
Like, I'm not saying like that's a good thing. Like, no, that's terrible. But
Right.
9/11 was
Way worse.
way worse.
Yep.
Started a war.
Yeah, and then we found out
Well, yeah, that was also planned by us.
that
but,
all that was planned. And anyhow, that's just more conspiracy that's coming out as stuff that the
I just wanted to throw that out
government
there
did.
about J6, about how like some sides view J6.
Right. No, I love it, dude. I love it. Oh, and also, what just happened with J6?
Oh yeah, they just overruled something. Sorry, I don't have the post.
Okay.
It's on DC Drano.
All right.
They just decided that something was unlawful, the Supreme Court. And so hopefully a lot of people that got charged can get it reversed. Supreme Court overrules J6 charges. Huge win for J6 protesters who were given felonies under the statute that did not apply to them. Now, hundreds of J6 convictions need to be reversed. Hopefully. So, yeah, it rules the J6 obstruction charge is untainable. So, hopefully, a lot of those people get their cases dismissed. But, I mean, there's still lots of people in jail that haven't even been able to go to trial yet.
Right.
So, hopefully that'll speed up the process.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. Cool. So some of the things I had written down that I thought were notable. After the debate, a ton of liberal media sources,
Everyone, I think.
is like, this is bad. This is so much worse than we expected. Who knew Joe Biden was on such a decline and in such a bad spot? Can you believe that his family allowed him to be out there? Can you believe his team allowed him to be out there on stage? This is terrible. We can't have this for the country. We may need to consider a different candidate.
Mm-hmm.
We have time. Like, we have to move now. We have time to do another candidate if that's what we need to do. And it's like, guys, are you stupid?
Like, he did better in that debate than he has in some of his
other debates and his speeches. Yeah,
in some of his speaking engagements.
Dude, I'm like this. Everybody knows he's been fucked for years since he was elected.
Yeah. Everyone has known.
Yeah. And so.
And now all of a sudden they're all just like, we didn't know it was this bad. And it's just like, what?
Yeah, it
was all a ploy.
It's all ploy. They are. So everyone's just doing it, and all these liberal media sources, and they're just doing it to bring in a new candidate.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Which there was a meeting the day after.
Yeah.
With the Obamas, the Clintons, the Bidens, some other probably Democratic people, I'm sure. Debating on what they should do next. And Jill and Joe are very like...
They want the power.
Yeah,
they want to run.
They say they're going to run.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you watched the very end of the debate, which you could probably look it up, Jill had to escort Joe off of the stage and help him down the steps.
Yep. Absurd, dude.
Yep.
The fact that, like, on live TV, you have to watch the president get escorted off the stage because he's in such bad condition.
Mm-hmm. Which, we did have a president who had polio. And they were in a wheelchair.
Not the same.
No, but, I mean, we did have a president in a wheelchair at one point.
I would rather have a president in a wheelchair who has cognitive functioning.
Yeah.
Than a president who can barely walk with no cognitive functioning.
Yeah. Ooh, can we bring up wait, what are we talking about right now?
Oh, what do you want to bring up?
Oh, the health question.
Oh, go for it.
One of the questions was obviously people being concerned with their ages and health.
Right.
So Biden will be 86 at the end of his second term. President Trump will be 83. 82 at the end. And so they asked, like, what do you say to the people to make them feel better about you being president in your age? And Biden didn't really answer it. He kind of went on to talk about some other policy stuff.
Really random shit.
Very random shit. He tried saying how he was the second youngest in politics now, and now he's one of the older ones, and he's used to it, and then went on to some other stuff. And then Trump was asked the same question, and he I loved his answer, because he was just like, I took 2 cognitive tests, aced them both.
He took cognitive and physical tests every year he was in office. He just took a physical test and he was good.
Yep. He said he's in better shape and health than he was 30 years ago.
He feels in as good as shape.
But he said he's like lighter now. Like he has lost weight. And he's just like, I've won 2 golf championships and not even the senior levels.
Right.
And I was just like very impressed. And I was just like, yeah, like you at least do the tests. Biden refuses to do the tests.
I don't even know how you can be in office and not be held to the standard to do the test.
I thought like that wasn't allowed. Like I thought they had to. I don't know how they got around that.
Dude, Trump had to.
You're right.
They were like, we don't trust him. He has to take these and he pass them with flying colors.
Yeah. And so I love that. Then they got into a little child fight because Biden was just like, I had a 6 handicap when I was vice president, which let's remember that was 8 years ago now.
Yeah, in golf, but even then, no.
Yeah, and then Trump was just like,
you never had a 6 handicap. He's like, and then Biden, I had an 8 handicap. And he's like, what are you even saying, dude?
Yeah. And then there was a post by Dave Portnoy that said, Kate's been decided. We'll have a golf off to decide who's going to be the president.
Yeah, settle it on the course.
So that was but I really did like how Trump did actually answer it and like reassured people of how he's in good shape and how he like we shouldn't be worried about his age.
Absolutely. Some to piggy after that. So with the like golf handicap thing, which isn't true, Biden definitely made a couple drastic lies. Right. One of them was that the Border Patrol
endorses
him. That was like, boom. And Trump's like, that's not true. They endorse me, not you. And the Border Patrol tweets.
And the Border Patrol Union.
The union, yep.
Tweeted.
Mid-election.
Mid-debate.
Or sorry, mid-debate.
We have never endorsed Joe Biden and will never endorse him.
So that was one, which was pretty funny.
Yeah. So from what I saw, they endorsed one of his policies, but not him as a candidate. Yep. 2 very big different things.
Very big different. And what was funny was afterwards in like the, they had all the like after action reviews, the breakdowns of the debate, and you had all the panels, Fox News did one, CNN did one, MSNBC, like all these media outlets, all these people did these. And the one that right afterwards on CNN that we were watching, they were like, man, Trump was just lying. Trump did nothing but lie, and Biden only stated facts. And it was like, no, dude, Biden actually lied a lot. Like there was many things. And another thing, he said that no soldiers have died under his presidency.
The worst part is they talked about him pulling troops out of Afghanistan and that people died because of it.
Yeah, dude.
They literally talked about that before he said no one has died under me.
Yeah. So that happened, and then he says no one's died. And it's like, what do you... So 13 troops died.
You already discussed that. You had troops die.
Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, no one's died under my watch. And so, I mean, that runs into... Trump talked about his poor handling of Afghanistan. And with such a poor, disgraceful handling of Afghanistan, leaving billions of dollars of equipment, killing
lives at risk.
13 soldiers, not to mention all of the other civilians that were killed, American civilians that were killed while over there. all of the Afghani like what do you call them, the people that helped out,
Yeah, like the allies, like the people that were
all
with
the allies,
yeah.
that like assisted the U.S. while we were over there, all those people are going to get killed because of it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how many lives did he ruin, not to mention leaving billions of dollars of equipment over there. And so so that happened. Along with that, you also then show your hand how we handle wars, that we are weak. And Trump brought this up, like, you proved to other countries that we are weak. So what happened? How many wars started while Trump was in office?
None.
0. Trump made the plan to end the war in Afghanistan, to have all the troops pulled by 2021, and he had a plan to do it. Biden did not follow it. He just pulled them last minute, and everything
randomly.
Yeah, disaster.
And what happened not long after that?
Ukraine, Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So then a war starts under Biden, Ukraine, Russia. And then a year and a half later, Israel, Palestine starts. So 2 wars start under Biden. Trump talked about the copious amount of funding that we're sending to Ukraine, even though we have an ocean separating us from Europe, and we are putting in way more funds to the Ukraine-Russia war than the European Union and all the countries in Europe who are directly affected by this.
100%.
And so in Asia, in Asia too, same continent.
Yeah.
And so or like connected continent, right? That's how it goes.
Yeah, they're all connected.
Yeah. But so that right there just points out the fact that by showing your hand of how poorly they handled the Afghanistan withdrawal, opens up the door for other leaders to act.
100%.
Which they did, starting 2 other wars that we are fucking blindly just pouring money into, that is clearly fucking fraud.
Yeah.
And it's already been proven in a lot over in Ukraine that a lot of that money is just being laundered.
Yeah.
And people are just taking it and buying fucking Rolls Royces and shit with it. So anyways, and then if you go ahead and you look at where the U.S., like what countries the U.S. funds the most, I think it's Israel, then Ukraine. Israel.
For what?
That we've funded the most money to over the
yeah.
last like 50 years.
Yeah.
And so we've just.
But there's a specific agreement that was made with Israel.
Right.
But that's over 50 years that we've funded them.
Right. Yep.
Not in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's wild to see how much money that they've poured into that. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Also, let's point out real quickly. When did the U.S. enter World War II?
I don't know that answer.
Like, I think 3-4 years into it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure it was. Yep. Yeah. It was. I think it was around like 43. 42. Yeah.
We did not enter that war until it affected us.
Right.
Because Japan bombed.
Right. Yeah, I think it was 93 or 43 when we. Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, I like that mentality of like, yes, like we should probably watch it, be careful, like know it's there, prepare if anything needs to happen, but it's not affecting us.
Right.
It's over there. Those European countries have money. If they need to worry about it, they should worry about it. Mm-hmm. They should prepare themselves for it, everything. There is an ocean in between us.
Yep.
On both sides.
And some of the things that were talked about was tax cuts and how Trump put in tax cuts and tariffs. And he was saying the tariffs were stupid. And Trump's like, if the tariffs were stupid, why didn't you take them away? Mm-hmm. Oh, because the tariffs are making you billions of dollars. Like, no wonder why you didn't pull the tariffs, because it's giving us money, giving the country money. And then they talked about, so Biden talked about the tax cuts, and he's like, well, then fix it, or then do whatever. And then Trump stated, like, you're concerned about that, but how many billions have you given away to Ukraine and stuff? And so it's like they're talking about, Biden saying how the tax cuts were bad, which, guess what? Tax cuts to citizens is a pretty good thing. If they, like, we could all go down to a 10% flat tax if the government was ran properly, which it's not, and everything's money laundering, fraud, etc. And so Biden's trying to say that, like, oh, the tax cuts were bad, meanwhile giving away billions, if not trillions of dollars throughout his time as a leader. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
I also would like... Sorry, I just wanted to point out one thing. And I wanted to look it up quick. Because they kept talking about the deficit and saying how Trump has added more... added more to the deficit than Biden has.
Yeah.
Which one I did not understand.
I wasn't fully understanding that either.
But I wonder if it was because now the tariffs are in place. Because I don't think he put those tariffs in until his last year of presidency. Trump didn't.
Sure.
But your grandmother brought this up today. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. I think... Because so many, like... Because they debated about, like, bringing jobs back to the U.S., which is why Trump did do a corporate tax. Because look at companies that were in California move to Texas. Taxes are cheaper in Texas.
Yeah.
That's why they moved out.
13% cheaper.
Right. So that's why companies move their manufacturing plants to different countries because cheaper wages, cheaper taxes, and then you just have to import it into the U.S.
Right. Yep.
And when you didn't have any tariffs or anything, it was cheap to import to the U.S.
Right.
So if you add a tariff, lower corporate taxes, then they're going to want to bring those manufacturing jobs back to the U.S.
And what's that do for us here?
Gives us jobs.
Yep.
Gives us cheaper products.
Cheaper products. Well, and you get, like, self-reliance on the country.
100%. So if, we piss off China, they don't cut our supply on microchips.
Right.
So the thing we need to keep in mind is Trump started making those plans expecting to be in the next 4 years.
Right.
To keep those plans going.
Right.
But instead, he got voted out.
Bro, think of the difference the world would be. Think of the difference the world would be right now had Trump got reelected. Remember, you and I talked about this, and I was like, golly, with all my soul, I want Trump to be reelected. But I was like, if Biden gets in...
It can't get that bad in 4 years.
No. I said if Biden gets in, I said, I almost want to see it because people are going to start struggling. It's going to be bad. We're going to see the real Democrats. We're going to see the side of them. And who's going to be hurt? A lot of Democrats. And as we've seen over the last 4 years, this has hurt so many people. Housing prices are fucking absurd. They're up over 30%.
They've been printing money like fucking crazy.
Printing money, insane. Giving the money away. Food prices have gone up fucking wacky tobacco.
Yeah.
Gas is up 3 times. Utilities are way fucking up, dude. Our utilities are up like 100%.
Yeah.
Our property taxes went fucking bonkers. Like, dude, these things affect everyday people a lot more than the fucking main pressure points Democrats are concerned on. The fucking green, whatever.
New Green Deal or whatever.
Green New Deal or what are the fucking green policy.
Yeah.
And abortion. Okay? So we're caring about like fucking global warming and fossil fuels, right? And abortion. Meanwhile, everybody is fucking doing way worse.
Yeah.
Like everyone's doing worse. If you break it down like as far as like percentage base. I mean, obviously there's the outliers who are like making more money now.
Yeah.
And so whatever. Of course there's always like the outliers, but most the fucking general medium, like fucking, what do they call those people? All the people in the middle?
Middle class?
Thank you. I'm a fucking dumbass, dude.
Yeah, you are today.
Why my brain's not working?
No, it's not. That's
So
okay.
like the middle class, what is the fucking people in the middle? I'm so stupid. The middle class, dude. The majority of the middle class is in a worse situation today than they were under Trump. And that is just fucking facts on paper.
Yeah.
And part of me is happy because when we talked about it 4 years ago, I was like, dude, I want Trump in. For me, the world, it'll be great. But if it doesn't happen, dude, let's see these motherfuckers squirm.
Yeah.
Let's see some people get like fucking in dire straits.
Yep.
Let's see some shit in the streets, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let's get the blood in the streets, dude.
Yeah.
And it's fucking happened.
Yeah.
It's happening right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it.
I don't.
I love it.
I mean, it's good to see, and hopefully people will be like, yeah, I can't do this for another 4 years.
Dude, liberals are straight up saying, like, fucking piles of liberals are like, yeah, I can't vote for Biden.
Like, I can't do this
I
again.
can't do it. And it's like, yeah, dog, because you're fucking drowning.
Yeah. What was I trying to make a point on? The deficit is what we were starting to talk about. But yeah, I think if Trump would have been in this past 4 years, we would have seen a lot more of the deficit go down.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have seen these wars start.
Right.
We would have peacefully pulled out of Afghanistan, and that wouldn't have happened. Things would be a lot different.
I think so.
Oh, one of the questions about the climate. Do you have a climate section?
I don't. Go ahead.
Trump stated we were energy independent.
Yes.
When he was in office.
Correct.
And I don't know if you remember seeing, but everyone, because Biden refuted, he's like, we were not energy independent. And then everyone in the panel afterwards was refuting and saying that we weren't energy independent. And it's like, well, what is energy independence? It's when you're exporting more than you're importing.
Correct.
So we were making so much oil that we were able to
export more than we imported.
100%. So we were energy independent. Yep. But they're trying to think of it as like the
whole country runs on just the energy produced within the country.
Yeah. And also they think about it as like the fucking solar panels and the windmills and all that garbage shit. Yeah. Also, guys, real quick, do your research. Solar panels are really bad for the environment. Electric cars are really bad for the environment. All that shit is actually really bad for the environment.
Solar panels fucking like mirror and radiate, like bounce.
They're causing the
global warming.
Yeah, they're causing the weather to be hotter.
Yeah.
Because the sun rays are reflecting off of the black panels.
Yep. And shooting back up the sky.
Yeah. Actually, they're mirrored panels.
The mirrored panels. Yeah. Yep.
And they actually cause more tornadoes.
Yeah.
Because they cause the air to be heated,
yep.
which is good weather for tornadoes.
Right.
Which is why there's been more storms this year.
I fucking love it, dude. Mm-hmm. Let's get as dumb as we can fucking get.
And how many
all this is Darwinism.
And how many times do we hear that, like, making batteries is really bad for the environment? Why do we think
endlessly?
Why do we think cars full of batteries are a good idea? Especially when batteries only last 3 years.
Dog, it's like the fucking Toyota. It's like the Toyota thing, the 1769 rule or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like
Toyota refuses to make an all-electric car.
Yeah.
Because if one all-electric car is good as like 1 to 7 hybrid or 7 hybrids.
7 half or not hybrids. It's like electric with gas. It's like
it's mainly electric.
Mainly electric with some gas.
Yeah, and then 69 hybrids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can have 69 hybrids compared to one all-electric vehicle for the same like damage to the earth, batteries, all that shit.
Yep.
So you can have 69 hybrids that get fucking bomb-ass 60 mpgs in comparison.
And also, we pay... So we took ourselves... Trump took ourselves out of the Paris deal or whatever.
Accord. Yeah.
Paris Accord. Because we were paying a ton of money to be in there. Mm-hmm. But we're not the problem.
Right, yeah. It's fucking China and India.
Yeah. And they didn't have to pay shit.
Yeah. Okay, to keep going on that... we were talking about so we were just talking about energy.
Yeah.
And I lost my thought.
Dude,
my brain don't work today,
I'm
dog.
shocked that Trump did not bring up the fact that Joe Biden has used up all of our oil reserves. I am shocked that he didn't bring that up.
That would have been really smart.
100%.
It would have been really smart to bring that up.
Mm-hmm. And it was really weird because Biden, I thought, did mention something about how we have a lot of open pipelines or something right now. And maybe it wasn't in the debate, but maybe it was something else that I saw him like talk about it, and I was like, "Dog, you've shut down pipelines. Like, what do you mean?"
A bunch of them, so many.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember. I thought it was in the debate, but maybe it was in something else I saw. Anyways, okay, what do you got next? We're at 45 minutes. So.
Yeah, we're good. So yeah, pretty much, guys, do your research on some on like energy. A lot of the green sustainable things they're talking about for energy isn't actually great. But I think it's hydrogen. Hydrogen operated is like zero. It's one of the most efficient energies with like almost no waste and like no CO2 or whatever.
Yeah, they've
no emissions.
Done some cars. I thought there was like an inventor that made a car that ran on water and then they killed him.
Yeah, no, legit. And there was a guy, I just watched a guy on YouTube who's like had a fucking Ford Explorer, just a piece of shit exploder. He hooks it up to a hydrogen system and he's like, I get 200 miles a gallon now. And he's like, listen to how clean this thing runs. And it's like, it just purrs.
Interesting.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, this is all you got to do. And he went into like all the shit you have to do. And I'm like, what the fuck? But yes, that guy's probably dead.
Also, with all the fast food chains now, they really should start making cars run on vegetable oil again.
Oh yeah, that'd be really smart.
That was like something like huge in the early 2000s. I remember.
Early 2000s. So I think the late 80s and 90s, the military made their Humvees and a lot of their like Deuce and a Halves, and so a lot of the military equipment they required to run on any type of oil or gas you put in the system, because when they drop equipment off into third world countries,
they use what you get.
Exactly. And so like we have the technology to operate off of any type of fucking oil you pour into the damn thing. Any type of fuel you pour in, it'll operate off of, and they quit doing it. Dog, why not like fucking utilize our waste?
Right, yeah.
So anyways,
so what do you got next?
Next. This I loved. It was the Roe v. Wade.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Abortion.
Yeah.
Democrats will die on the fucking hill of abortion so that they can kill a kid in a third trimester. Literally, Democrats want nothing more. They're just like, please let me fucking kill a kid up till the day it's born. That's all they care about, dude. That's literally all they care about.
Yep.
That and fucking energy, which we just discussed.
Yep.
And so Democrats are just fucking infatuated with murder of kids, which is okay, cool, whatever. And so most Republicans are like, nope, no abortion, period. Fucking DT. They bring it up to him. Roe v. Wade. He's like, yeah, Roe v. Wade was put into place 50 years ago. Before that, it was based on the state's discretion. And he's like, since they put that into effect, they've been trying to put it back into the state's discretion, as it should be, and no one's had luck with it. He's like, I was able to get it done. Now, it is dependent on what your state statutes say. So whatever your state comes up with for rules is what the abortion laws are in your state. The only thing the federal has to say is if it's rape, incest, or health concerns to the mom or the baby, there can be an abortion. Guys, every motherfucking idiot out there, their number one thing is like, well, what if I'm raped? What if I'm raped?
What if it's risking my health? What if I could die if I keep having that baby?
Yeah, guess what? You can have an abortion. You fucking idiot. Okay? Also, if you're that concerned that you cannot kill your kid up until the day it's fucking born, and some places are even like, if it's born, you can just set it aside and let it die.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's what you care about in the world, is making sure that if you are not fucking responsible enough to use protection, and you fucking let dudes dump fucking loads in you, and then you want to kill that kid up until the day it's born, or even the day it's born, move to a state that allows it, like fucking Oregon or California or Washington, Virginia. Yep, Virginia. Like all these places. Move there then. If you fucking just want to get loads dumped in you and then kill the kid at fucking 37 weeks, just move to one of those states, dude. Then you're good.
And I think even you don't even have to be a resident. Like, I think you can
just drive there.
Just drive there to get it done. Come back.
You got fucking 38 weeks to figure it out, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think it's beautiful. I think I honestly, I don't know how there can be an argument to this. If you were raped, incest, or your health or the baby health is in question, it can be terminated. Otherwise, it's up to the state. Wow. What a novel fucking idea.
Right.
Wrap that fucking willy or take some birth control. Quit letting fucking random dudes drop fucking loads into you, and look at what'll happen to the world. Crazy. If fucking abortion is brought up anymore, I want to fucking kill whoever brings it up. Right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Dude, it's wild.
The problem's solved.
It's wild how many people strictly vote just because of abortion.
Fucking NPCs, non-playable characters, are who those are.
So many people.
So anyways, I do not believe abortion could have been handled in any other way possible. What Trump said is exactly how I've felt about abortion forever. I've always been like...
continue, sorry.
I've always been pro-choice. So if that's how you feel, just live in a state that has the same beliefs and morals as you, okay? I've always believed in that. Second, I don't think you should abort a kid. Like, personally, I don't think you should abort a kid unless health or rape or incest. But yeah, health, rape, incest. And so, like, what he said is beautiful. I don't know how you argue with it.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The other interesting thing about that was, Biden didn't understand what the whole concept of Roe v. Wade. Because Trump pointed out the fact that Roe v. Wade allowed you to abort a baby the day it's born.
Yep.
And Biden was just like, well, I don't approve of that or whatever. And Trump's just like, okay, you obviously don't understand Roe v. Wade then.
Right. It's beautiful, dude. He crushed him.
And the other nice thing about this, guys, is why this is so important to give it to the states is because it is more of the people's decision.
Yep, as it should be.
Right, because the states are such smaller units.
Yep.
So,
and they're supposed to represent the people.
Right. So, and I'm assuming, it's probably both the governor and the senators that probably decide on what that would be, or would it just be governor probably?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm
know.
not going to guess.
Yeah, I would assume it's more the governor that decides on that kind of stuff. But they do have to get it passed with, like, some of the other representatives, too, as well.
Which they should.
Yeah.
It should have to be that way.
So it does allow you to have more, like, word in what is happening in your state.
Yep.
So that is why, like, there should be so many more laws that is state by state versus the whole country.
Yeah. I love it. I agree. I got two things.
Okay.
You got anything before I hit these?
No, I'm making points off of yours.
I love it. The number one thing that Trump kept bringing up that just fucking grilled him every time. Like, there's no comeback to this. Immigration.
Yes.
Illegal immigration. Every time Biden brought something up, he's like, yeah, awesome. Well, the border's wide open. We had the lowest border crossing in history when Trump was president. He wanted to build the wall. He had the lowest border crossing in history. Now it is at the highest it's ever been by far. Terrorists are being let into the country. There are literally like a couple days before the debates.
There was 3 terrorist attacks.
There's 3, yeah.
That they stopped.
Yep. And like, didn't some girls or something just get?
There's 3 cases right now of different girls that have gotten killed from illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
There's 3 different cases right now.
And so there's just a ton.
The day of the debate, there was a funeral for the 12-year-old girl.
Thank you. That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's very prevalent how bad the immigration crisis has been handled. Trump had a system in place. All Biden had to do was keep that system, just continue that system. Don't change anything. He opened the borders wide open, purposely destroying the U.S. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you're curious, like what the difference is Trump was catching them and releasing them back into Mexico.
Yep.
Biden was catching them, releasing them into the States.
Yes. So they both do a catch and release, but one of them catches and releases to where they came, and the other catches and releases into the U.S. Why even catch them? Because they say they like.
Well, because now they catch them to give them citizenship.
Yep.
To give them food stamps.
Yep.
To give them cell phone.
Medicare, Social Security, which was another thing brought up, how Biden is destroying Social Security and Medicare. Anyways, the whole immigration thing, it is actually affecting people, dude. It's very obvious how much it's affecting people all across the country. And, I mean, think of the jobs that are being taken, Social Security, Medicare, just the hospitals being overran by having to take care of illegal immigrants.
Injuries from illegal immigrants.
And then not getting paid. Food stamps, all the hotels, they're letting them stay in for free.
And Shaun and I witnessed this, by the way. When I was booking hotels for our East Coast trip, especially around New York, there was a lot of reviews of hotels that said, do not stay here. It is filled with illegal immigrants.
Yep.
So, I mean, we didn't witness it, but there was multiple reviews on these hotels. And some of those hotels were luxury hotels, I would say. They were at least 2-3 star hotels.
Yeah, usually when we go places, we stay in somewhat nicer area, like places.
If we can, yeah.
If we can. There's a couple times we stayed in shit, and it sucks.
It was the only option.
Man. Anyways, so yeah, it's immigration. It's a pretty big deal, and they no matter what happens, it's clear it was clearly intentional destruction of the U.S. Read the Communist Manifesto. It outlines it in there. Atlas Shrugged, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Read any of those books, you'll see. Agenda 1 and Agenda 2, the films, like all these things lay out what they're doing, and they're doing it great. The Democrats are doing such a good job at turning the U.S. into a communist regime. Anyways, the last thing I had.
Oh, I was gonna.
Oh, go ahead.
To go back to my let's remember some old facts.
Yeah.
Do remember it's a lot of schools that are getting used as housing facilities for illegal immigrants now, and a lot of more black population schools that are getting used.
Yes.
And then there. I saw a lot of tweets about people saying like, because Trump did say like these illegals are taking a lot of black jobs.
Sure.
And people are just like, man, I would like to know what these black jobs these illegals are taking from me. The thing is that you have to think about, a lot of the people I saw tweeting are people like that I know from the gaming industry or YouTube industry and stuff like that. And it's just like, you have to do a job that you don't want to do because you have your posh, cushy desk chair job. So a lot of these jobs that they're taking are like the blue collar jobs that men now are too weak to do. So that is something like they are taking jobs, and the people that say like, what jobs are they taking? It's the jobs that they don't want to work because they're too much of bitches.
Let me go ahead and say I've dealt with this firsthand. Mm-hmm. I just told Matthew this today. Even up by where we live, Minneapolis, Minnesota area is a huge population of illegal immigrants from Mexico.
And Somalians.
And Somalians.
Well, the Somalians are technically here legally as refugees.
Yeah. I hired a crew of Mexicans to do a roof for me because, well, there's not many fucking white crews out there anymore. You know, well, I shouldn't say that. White, black, American, right? Like, there's not many American crews.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Mexicans roofing. And the few, like, people we know that do roof still.
All of Mexican crews?
Are, well, there's a couple, like, smaller guys that do it.
Oh, yeah.
And their prices are high. Some of them aren't crazy. There's actually, like, one person I know who can beat the Mexican prices. But
it's like a 2-man job.
It's a very niche, you know, type of roof that they'll do, though. And so, but yeah, so anyways, hired some Mexicans.
Oh my god.
They got pulled over. I get called on a Saturday by the guy who owns the company, who is legal. The one guy who owns the company is legal. Hey, what are you doing? It's Saturday morning. I'm having breakfast. What's up? The guys were on the way to your property to finish up, and they got stopped by the cops. No one has licenses. They're all illegal. Are you able to go pick them up and drive the vehicle for them, or your roof can't get done? So I'm like, I got to get this roof done. It's Saturday. So I go. Sam drops me off. I hop in a van.
Well, you had to show the sheriff.
I just show the sheriff that I got a license and that they're going to work on my project. Told them where it is, everything. Okay, cool. I hop in. Van full of illegal immigrants.
Full of them.
Van full of illegal Mexicans, dude. I bring them down, bring them to the property. They finish up the job, whatever. Never see them again. Obviously sent them a check or whatever, but it just, that right there, 10 years ago when I first started in construction, there was quite a bit of roofing crews. There was a lot of American blue collar workers. Now, the framers on all the big commercial projects, Mexicans. Pretty much all roofing, Mexicans. Drywall, Mexicans. It is fucking absurd the amount of blue collar jobs that were taken from Americans. In our area, we're predominantly white.
Yeah.
And so
kitchens. When we were on the East Coast.
Oh my God, bro. East Coast, every kitchen was Mexicans.
All the wait staff were Americans.
Americans, yep.
And then the whole kitchen staff was Mexicans.
Damn, dude, that's so true.
They made some bomb-ass food, I will say that.
They make some good fucking food, man. It's crazy, dude. It's actually crazy how much this has affected us. And that's just to mention, like, the illegal immigrants that came in that are, like, good people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are nice. They're good. They come here. They work. Whatever.
There's a way to get your citizenship.
100% to do it legally, as they should. And then not even to mention the amount of, like, terrorists that came in from different countries all over the world that just used the Mexican route to come in. There's countless, endless amounts of videos of Africans, like all middle-age, like military-age men from China, over in the Middle East, you know, Afghanistan, Africa,
like
Russia, Venezuela,
like from all the mafias and stuff in Venezuela.
Literally, like, everywhere you can think of where there's any sort of, like, heavy crime, or that they want to place soldiers, like male, fighting age male soldiers on our soil, has been done.
Also, guess what they, in all those videos, guess who they were told to vote for?
Biden.
Yep.
The Democrats.
Because they're the ones getting them in and giving them all these things.
And if you figure, if they go and vote and you get, because they can vote.
The House,
Okay.
the Senate,
Sure.
just passed something that they can't.
That's beautiful. If they actually follow that through.
Yeah. I think it's called like the SAVE Act or something.
Okay. Good. That's awesome.
Yeah. So they're working on getting that passed.
Perfect.
Yeah.
They asked Trump if he would support if he'd support the results of the election. He's like, if it is a legitimate, fair election, I'll support it.
A fair and legal election.
Yep.
And so many of the news anchors afterwards were so concerned with how he wouldn't just say that he was fine with the election results.
Yeah, dog, because if you look at the 2020 election, Trump, we all go to bed. Trump's leading in the polls. We all go to bed. Trump's leading in the polls. Then what has never happened ever on a fucking graph, there's a straight up of 100,000 ballots in for only Biden. So you counted 100,000 ballots and every single one of them's for Biden?
No way.
No way. And that happened in multiple states.
Yeah.
And so, dude, yeah, no, there was clear fraud in 2020. It's fucking obvious, plain as day.
There's so many surveillance footages of it even. There was, even back then, and they won't tell you this because they keep destroying all of it. Anything that comes out, they destroy. Back then, I remember seeing, when the election was going on, or like shortly after, mail trucks dumping ballots into like rivers and oceans.
Yep. There was even stuff that came out that was like, how did this person vote when they've been dead for a year?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of dead people.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, all it is the Democrats are okay with cheating if it benefits them. Mm-hmm. Guys, that's a fucking problem.
Yep.
That is the cheating period is bad. Like, that is a problem. But you're just so lost in the world and you just want your way to be your way that you're like, oh, it doesn't matter how bad our morals and values get as long as we win.
As long as we can have abortion and this Green New Deal.
Yeah, dude. Then it doesn't matter. Like, fuck everyone.
Yep.
So anyways, crazy. The last thing. You got anything else?
I don't know.
Okay, the last thing I got. This is probably to me the best telling thing. I've brought this up to people. People are fucking idiots. Here's the deal. Trump stayed in the election. In the debate. I keep saying. Trump stayed in the debate. He wishes Biden did a good job so that he would not have to run, so that he could enjoy his life in one of his multiple fucking estates, and he could enjoy the fruits of his labor, and he wouldn't have to deal with the U.S. or deal with becoming a president. But because of how bad things are, as it's said in the Simpsons, his interview, everything like that, where he says, I will become, or so like it shows him being the president in the Simpsons, but in his interview it says from like 1990 something, he would only become a president if the U.S. gets in such dire straits that if there's no one else who will step up and it's the only way to save the country, he'll step up. This dude says on TV, on the debate, I'm happy to be here, but I would way rather not be here. Mm-hmm. I would rather be at one of my many estates, enjoying my life, golfing, and the country being ran fine. But the country's being ran so terribly, we need to make America great again, so I'm here running to save the country. Dude, here's the thing. This is how it should be. Andy Frisella always talks about his favorite guy. I do not remember where it was from, but his favorite guy was a farmer. Mm-hmm. Joined the military, worked his all the way up, became like president, ruler. Did his thing to get the country turned back around. They're like, hey, you're going to be king. You're going to rule forever. He's like, no, I did what I was here to do. I'm going back to farmer. I served. I changed. I made the difference, and I'm done. Trump does not need to be there. Understand, self-made billionaire. Mm-hmm. He's got everything he wants. Anything he could possibly want in life.
He could have just been done with the last election, if it was fair and legal, just stepped away and been like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy retirement. I'm gonna walk away. None of these shitty trials or anything would have happened to him.
Right.
But he's just like, no, this is my country.
Yep.
I'm gonna make sure that I do the right thing for the people.
Yep.
And run to put it back in good position.
I think Trump is probably one of the most patriotic men of all time
100%.
for the U.S. So anyways, that's the recap I have.
Let's first talk about Biden thinking that he is fit, that he is able to be president for another 4 years.
Yeah.
Is the most selfish, self-centered thing that you could do.
100%.
So anybody that states that Trump is very selfish and only thinks about himself and only wants this because of power, no.
Fucking in that little meeting with Biden and Obama and Clinton and all that, the Bidens were like, no, we want to keep running. We want to stay in power. We want to keep running. That is the most selfish shit for the country ever. It is not Trump. It is Biden. It's the Democratic Party who's selfish. Just look in your life at the Democrats compared to the Republicans. Who's more selfish? Who's more self-centered?
Who's dropped more bombs on other countries?
Oh, the Democrats than Republicans, you're saying?
Obama dropped the most bombs on other countries than any other president.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And they don't want war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So anyways, gang, you got anything else, babe?
No. I know most of you are friends of ours and know where we stand, but just in case if you're not, we are obviously Republicans, but like we do care about the U.S. and we may be a little biased, but I would say we do look at things more from a logical point of view. We do try and look at facts. And obviously, like, you can have a different opinion than us. Like, we don't care. Like, people are allowed to have different opinions.
Yes. But you have your opinion, 100%. Here's the thing.
You have to do your research, though. Like, you can't just think, oh, Trump lied about everything, Biden didn't. Okay, well, there's proof that that's false.
I always thought growing up that I was like a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were, and so I just thought that that's like what I was. But then, I started noticing when Trump started running, the change in people around me,
mm-hmm.
and how crazy Democrats got, and how like not crazy. What it was I noticed how emotional Democrats are and how logical Republicans are.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Then I started doing like learning. I started like researching, learning about other stuff. And you start seeing that Democrats actually are the cause of most negative things throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery was Democrats. Just a bunch of different.
Trump's family is the only president that, like, his ancestors never owned slaves.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn, that's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gonna say, it's not in slavery. A bunch of different wars continuing to like.
Yeah.
Things like that. And so if you look at like the negative things the Democrats have done, the Democrats have been against giving women rights, and all sorts of things like that. Once you start seeing that the Democrats, what they preach,
they're for the people.
They preach they're for the people. But if you look at history over the last 250 years, everything that they did was against the people.
Mm-hmm.
So like once I saw that, I'm like, all these people, they're just liars. And so for the last 8 years, I've been a Republican because I've learned that I don't trust liars.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, because how many times have they said, like, they've gone to, like, black population cities and say, we're going to give you all this money, we're going to help you get rid of crime, we're going to do all these great things for your community.
When you look at what the Democrats did back in the, it was like 50s, when they implemented welfare and got the black population on welfare.
They destroyed the black population.
In 1930, the divorce rate for blacks, or the sorry. The percentage of single parent black families in 1930 was 4%. Now today it's something like 80 something percent.
Yeah, or like, yeah, I thought it was between 60 and 70, but maybe it is higher.
No, it's like absurd.
Because you get additional things if you're a single parent.
You get more welfare, you get more food stamps, you get more housing assistance, everything. And the way that the world has made itself seem, and you learn this in like Outwitting the Devil and stuff, is women's rights are a good thing. Making women, putting it in a light where women don't need men, and showing that like, oh, strong women, we don't need men, all that shit, like that huge movement of like, I'm a strong independent woman, that is so detrimental for society. Men and women have different roles. Having a 2-family unit to raise kids, to grow a strong country, a strong community, is so fucking huge. Having good role models in the house, people you can look up to and learn from, and instead they incentivize single parent households. They incentivize strong independent women. This is terrible for society, terrible for the population, terrible for our community. Look at how fucking
terrible for our mental health,
bro.
Think about all, what is it, like 90% of the black men in jails and prisons came from single families.
Oh, sure.
They never had father figures.
Yeah. It makes sense, dude. It makes sense. It's fucking wild. Once you start looking in, and once you start looking in, you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and learning more and more and more, and you start to see all of these things, you will switch.
100%.
Because you will realize, unless you're emotional, unless you're a reactive person, if you can be proactive, if you have the ability to be proactive, you will switch. If you do not have that ability, and you are only reactive, then you'll keep living in your little world being an NPC.
Yeah. Last little note, communists want you to depend on the government for everything.
Yep.
So what do you think welfare is? Yep. What do you think Social Security,
Medicare? I fucking cannot stand programs. I cannot stand any of them. I think Social Security needs to be wiped. I think Medicare needs to be wiped. I think all welfare should be gone. I don't believe in any of that shit. And I don't even, and people think I'm stupid, that I'm dumb. I don't care. I don't believe in any of it.
Because all of it incentivizes you to retire and stop moving, so then you your body falls apart.
Atrophy and die.
Yeah. You literally just fall apart because you're not doing any work. We know couple guys that are in their 70s still doing concrete because they retired, realized that their bodies were falling apart, and they're like, nope, we got to go back to work.
No. Late 60s for those guys. Hold on. We know guys in their 80s who still get up and scrap.
Yes.
And fucking work their ass off every day. They do rest a little more. They rest a little more now, but they're working.
Yeah.
They're fucking still working. They're doing shit on their own, but they're in their 80s still getting it.
But yeah. So really think about like what you guys are voting for and stuff like that, because like our property taxes have been going up because all these stupid referendums for the schools to keep wasting money keep going up. Look at some of your local officials. The DHS in Eau Claire County wasted, I thought it was $4 million. Was it $2 million?
I think it's $2 million.
$2 million in taxpayer dollars on hotel upgrades, flight upgrades, fancy dinners, car rentals. So really look at like your local politics too, and who you are voting for and like what they believe in. Because honestly, if you start at the local level, you can start getting the right people in place. So then your local community is getting better. So then your property taxes might not be so high. And then once you get to like the state level of it, then hopefully you can get some of your state taxes lowered as well.
There is a way, guys. You got to remember, we had a revolution in 1776, right?
Yeah.
The revolution over 2%.
A 2% tax.
2% tax. We now have over 50% tax.
If you take into account property taxes, which if you rent, do take into account your
you
rent
pay
is
those property taxes.
Yeah, your rent is going towards the owner's property taxes. So property taxes, your income tax, their tax on goods that you're buying.
So your sales tax, your Social Security, your Medicare, wheel tax, registration of vehicles, tax on gas, tax on everything
the gas
you
prices,
buy.
just so you guys know, the gas prices aren't just the gas prices. There is a tax added to it. So that is why when you go to different states, gas prices are different.
Yep.
Because it depends on what that state voted on for a gas tax. That is why California's gas is so expensive, because they have a ridiculous high gas tax.
There's death tax.
Yeah.
There's tax when you sell things.
So when you start really breaking it down and thinking about all these taxes that are hidden and that you don't think about, it is more than 50% of your income that's going towards taxes to pay these stupid, corrupt assholes that don't fucking care about you.
And if you don't understand this, if you have to work if you're working and over 50% of your income goes to somebody besides you, you are technically a slave to that person. So we are all a slave to the system of the U.S. because of how corrupt it is. It is very possible with efficiency, getting rid of all this fucking welfare, making people work, that you would have, we would be able to get our tax rate down to 10%. And how much more fruitful would your life, if you just think of what your take-home pay is right now, okay, think of what your take-home pay is right now, and add 50% to that. How much better off would your life be? Because what you're thinking of and what you're not going to fucking put into account because your brain is small and doesn't function well is as soon as you get that fucking money in your account, okay, your income tax came out of that, your Social Security, your Medicare, and
federal taxes, your
state taxes, for your income. And then once it's in there, guys, you're going to go spend that money and get taxed on all that money. The place you're living is going to get taxed. The vehicle you're driving is going to get taxed. So you've got to keep in mind, it's not just what you get into your account and then there's no more tax. No. You've got a lot more fucking tax, dude.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I just want you guys to think about that because I think it's fun to think about.
Yeah, sure. Well, we hope you enjoyed this review of the debate.
Yeah.
It was kind of, I mean, we didn't obviously go in order of the debate, but we brought up things that we thought were important for you to know. Do your research. I highly recommend, if you are more left-leaning, to start maybe following some more right-leaning pages just so you can kind of get both sides of things. DC_Drano is a really good right-wing one. And then also, I can't think of the other one that I follow.
News updates for real on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
That's just good to get actual news updates.
Also, Real Marjorie Green is awesome to follow.
Yeah, it's great. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.